What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode, and today we're going to be starting on the TRANSOM. Now, as you can see here, we've just clamped in our first bit of ply, which is pretty exciting, but of course there was a lot of work that's been done prior to where we're at the moment. So let's go back to the start and get this episode on the way. So to start the TRANSOM, what I want to do is I actually just want to go through here with the multi-tool and get rid of these side pieces so we have more than enough room to glass the TRANSOM. So we're just going to cut that with the multi-tool so we don't make too much of a mess, but this will be the same on both sides. Screw our ply on the outside to get this nice and straight and start laminating in the TRANSOM. We've got one of the marine pliers now clamped up to the outer skin of the TRANSOM. We are going to be screwing it in, so we've got ourselves some good contact to make sure that this outer is as straight as we can possibly get it. Removing all the original ply from the TRANSOM made the outer skin very floppy, so to make sure it's nice and straight for when we start doing our layup, one of the marine pliers is screwed to the outer to make sure that we get it as straight as possible. Yeah, that's good.
That's it in the wood.
Okay, so we probably put about 20 screws in, about 300 apart. I did put a few more around where the inboard is just to stop it from flapping. But you can see there, like, it's not moving much at all. So we've got the plastic there. That's obviously to stop it from sticking to the plywood. But what we've got to do now is just cut these screws off and grind it back.
Not yet.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't here. We've got to do this bit here. No. Yeah?
Oh, okay, so there's a few more bits we've got to do. Alright. Oh, well done, Chichi. Okay, day 2. Now this TRANSOM is going to be done in stages. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time every day over the next couple of days. So it is the long weekend this weekend, which works out quite well. So what we've done is we've just put a nice edge around the perimeter just to help with glassing, so it can eliminate any like air pockets when we start to lay up the fiberglass. I've actually already cut the glass up. I've just traced the perimeter of the ply and then just added 50mm, 100mm, 150 and 200mm to finish. So we've got 3 layers of 1708 and we've got 1 layer of chop, which will give us about 7 extra layers over the outer skin of the TRANSOM. Just going to give this a wipe with acetone. I've just gave it a quick scuff again with the flapper disc. So we'll give it a quick wipe, make sure it's prepped okay, and then we'll start laying in the glass. Now to make things a little easier, we're actually going to fill the inboard hole on the TRANSOM so it's all nice and smooth when we start laying up on the inner skin. Now of course when you grind out the whole hull, it's not going to be perfectly flat. So to eliminate any air pockets in your layup, we actually started with a 300 chop, and that is going to act as a filler before we start putting in our strengthening glass, which is the 1708. Now you can see all those slits in the glass around the perimeter, about 300mm apart. This is just to help get all the ripples out when we're laying it in. Now 1708 is quite a thick matting, so it's going to take a lot of resin. So you can see here me doing a few passes to make sure that it soaks up as much as it needs. So for our layup, the resin that we're going to be using to build this boat is vinyl ester. So it's a much more superior to just say your traditional polyester. So it bonds very well to materials, and like delamination is definitely less of an issue. So nice and strong. It's got a few epoxy properties in there. So yeah, bonding strength is definitely up there. Now, once the matting has had enough of absorbing all that resin, we use a fin roller to then spread the rest of the resin throughout the glass and get rid of any air pockets. And basically repeat the process with as many layers as you like, finishing off with chop strand. Guys, I think the camera died halfway through that layup. I'm so sorry, but I've already mixed the hardener with the resin, and I just didn't have enough time to put a new battery in the camera. But anyway, we have now a layer of chop. We've got 3 layers of 1708 and a layer of chop to finish it off, and it's turned out absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, I didn't get much of that on camera. Anyways, it is what it is. Let's get straight into it.
Next on the to-do list is to get our first bit of ply ready to laminate inside the boat. Now what we're doing here is routing the perimeter of the ply so we can get ourselves a nice flush fitment up against the transom, as well as scuffing each side so we can get a layer of choppy ready to glue into the boat.
Mate, look at that. How good does that look? I'm actually wrapped with that, hey. Wicked. So that's another thing ticked off the list. The last thing we've got to do is now just scuff this side. We'll do a test fit. Put a couple of layers of resin. Make sure it soaks up as much as it can. Layer of choppy. Wait for that to dry. Epoxy straight in the boat.
Now you guys are probably wondering why we're scuffing up this brand new bit of ply. This is just purely to help with adhesion of the chop strand.
Yeah, good. Well, that's our little laminate, Uncle Steve.
Yeah, well, I can see you working here.
The resin, so we'll see how much it starts to soak up. Oh, we definitely need a lot more than that. I wasn't sure how much we needed. Oh yeah. I think we need a bit more, Gigi. Huge amount more.
Put plenty around there.
Yeah.
It's very important, that.
Idiot, eh?
Now it ended up being 2 layers of resin before the ply stopped absorbing it. Then once it got a bit tacky after 25 minutes, we put 1 more layer on and then started rolling the choppy into it. Now we gave that ply a good 24 hours to fully cure because we're actually using epoxy to glue the ply in place.
Okay, so our first bit of ply is going in today. We have Uncle Steve just scuffing up the surface with some 40 grit sandpaper because it has been over 24 hours since we've put a couple of layers inside the transom there. We're also going to scuff up our first bit of ply. That has 1 layer of 300 chop now on it, and what we're going to be doing to combine and glue the ply in is this stuff here. So this is an epoxy glue called Spar Bond 345. Supposedly is amazing. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be mixing that. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. We're going to be applying it with a tileless trowel. So we've got the 6x6mm. We're going to be putting a nice coat on the outer skin, pushing that in, and then screwing it to the outer board that we've placed here to straighten the transom up. Once that's then glued, we're going to be putting a couple of layers of chop and 1708 on the ply, pull the outer ply off, and then basically repeat the process till we have all 3 boards in. So it's going to be very, very solid.
Now, prior to installing the ply, we're doing a grid 300 by 300 mil of 6 mil holes. This is so when we clamp and screw the ply to the back of that transom, the epoxy then goes through the ply, so we know that we've got good contact over the whole transom, and also helps with the bonding.
Nicholas is putting the both glues together. Fiberglass, I don't know what they are, but
Look at this stuff here, it's like ice cream.
it looks like ice cream. The other one looks like chocolate. Well, that one looks like vanilla. That one looks like chocolate.
Yeah.
And he's putting it all together. Got a mixer properly, of course.
So we're just going to do 4 of these.
4 of them.
And 2 of those.
And 2 of those. Of chocolate.
2 to 1 mix.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It died. The battery died.
Yeah, something died on the drill. And that's not too good. Now I've got to turn this off now. You ready?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
On the drill, ready?
Now, to make sure that the glue goes on uniformly over the whole transom, I tried to keep within 0 and 15 degrees of the trowel, so we have a good thickness when it comes to bonding the ply to the back of the transom. Now, the side that we are sticking to the outer skin is with the chop strand, so as you can see on camera, that is the other side that still needs to be rolled with resin before we start laying up our couple of layers of chop and 1708. Now, this is when you do not want any air pockets between the ply and your layup, so we are using screws to secure it, and that is just 45mm stainless steel self-tappers. We also use clamps on the top as well as a couple of bolts on the bottom just to be safe. Now, with the extra glue that was pushed on the sides and on the top was used to create a nice curve around the perimeter for when we start laying up for our next ply.
We keep bloody losing power. Supposedly today is the last day. They're going to be upgrading all the transformers on the end of the street because at least twice a week for the last 2 months we've been losing power for almost the whole day, which has been really, really annoying. So I think we'll actually have to stop the episode here. We can't turn the vacuum cleaner on, we can't use the sander, we can't use the grinder. So basically, we're going to come to a halt again. So that's why this transom's taking a lot longer than it should. We just, don't have the power at the moment. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.